Welcome to today's deep dive. We are taking this fascinating stack of sources you provided to explore the absolute shattering of modern expectations. You are going to hear exactly how technology is fundamentally redefining what is actually possible across multiple distinct disciplines.
What's fascinating here is the sheer breadth of this transformation you're about to discover. We are mapping a conceptual journey today that moves from the invisible algorithmic software revolution of how you actively search for information straight into the tangible physical realm where humanoid robots are spontaneously teaching themselves brand new skills.
From that physical space, we will examine how innovative chemical scientists are turning highly toxic industrial waste into valuable fuel. Then we push the boundaries of endless solar flight in our skies. And finally, look at the indisputable proof of human adaptability. Looking at the 2026 similar web numbers in your sources, the behavioral shift is just staggering.
You are looking at generative artificial intelligence traffic exploding by an astonishing 500% globally in just a single year. ChatGPT commands nearly half the conversational market at 45%, followed by Claude at 20%, Gemini holding 15%, and Perplexity carving out 10%.
The real story hidden in that data is that 44% of users are outright abandoning traditional Google searches for these generative platforms. You are watching a total migration in how humanity queries the internet happening in real time.
That massive behavioral migration signals the definitive death of traditional search engine optimization and the undeniable rise of generative engine optimization, or GEO. To understand why this matters to you, look at what digital strategist Frederick Cavazza points out in the source material.
Okay, let's unpack this. Think of generative engine optimization as a high-stakes trial lawyer presenting a complex case to an exceptionally rigorous judge. Traditional SEO was essentially a lawyer standing on a table in the courtroom, yelling specific keywords as loudly as possible to get attention.
The artificial intelligence acts as that uncompromising judge. It completely ignores the yelling lawyer and the simple keyword-stuffed marketing pages that used to dominate traditional search algorithms.
Instead, this judge only listens to the independent expert witnesses brought to the stand. Those witnesses are the earned media, the third-party reviews, and the credible news articles mentioning the brand. The algorithm basically synthesizes what others say about you, rather than what you say about yourself.
Earned media and objective editorial credibility now carry significantly more weight for a brand than anything written on their own corporate website. The battle is no longer fought on a search engine results page filled with 10 blue links.
I have to push back and challenge this underlying premise, actually. If the artificial intelligence serves you the final, perfectly curated answer directly in the chat interface, does Google not still win the actual financial transaction when you finally decide to buy that product or book that flight?
The sources explicitly address that exact transactional dynamic. The artificial intelligence heavily influences the initial discovery and comparison phase, acting as the ultimate research assistant. But the traditional search engine remains the undisputed central motor for actual conversion and lead generation.
Because when it is time to input your credit card and execute the purchase after comparing 5 different digital cameras, you still navigate through a traditional search gateway.
Furthermore, Microsoft Copilot internal data reveals deep nuances in how you actually interact with these interfaces. Voice interactions generate twice as many prompt messages per user as standard text inputs.
Users also exhibit distinct multi-intentions. They heavily pivot from recreational weekend shopping searches to serious weekday content creation and coding. Those specific generative coding tools have seen a 75% increase in usage.
While artificial intelligence radically changes how you process digital information on a screen, the real systemic shock arrives when this immense cognitive leap moves from a text box into a physical robot body.
Which brings me to this startup from our sources, Physical Intelligence. Their valuation is reportedly about to double to $11 billion, driven entirely by their new Pi 0.7 software model.
The big reveal published in their latest research is frankly astonishing. Their physical robot managed to successfully cook a sweet potato in an air fryer without ever being explicitly programmed, coded, or taught how to operate that specific kitchen appliance.
How does a machine even conceptualize a kitchen appliance it has never been programmed to use?
The underlying computational mechanism driving this specific breakthrough is called compositional generalization. Historically, a robot requires thousands of hours of highly specific simulation data to execute one precise task, like welding a car door.
The P 0.7 model clearly takes a completely different approach. The robot only encountered an air fryer exactly twice in its massive, highly unstructured training data.
In one isolated instance, a totally different robot simply closed an open air fryer drawer. In another completely unrelated open-source dataset, a human instructed a robotic arm to place an empty plastic bottle inside a generic bin.
Neither of those two isolated examples had absolutely anything to do with the complex act of cooking food. The software model independently recombined those disparate geometric and physical skills.
It deduced that an air fryer is simply a cavity that can receive an object, and that closing the drawer initiates a new state. It figured out the complex cooking process by pure deductive analogy.
I have to question whether this represents genuine cognitive understanding of the physical world or just a highly sophisticated parlor trick. The source material distinctly notes that a first attempt with the sweet potato yielded a highly disappointing 5% success rate.
It took 30 full minutes of careful, intentional prompt tweaking by the software engineers to push that specific success rate up to 95%.
The startup leadership even openly admits the model still cannot execute a basic, multi-step command like making a simple piece of toast. That requires sequential planning that the model simply does not possess yet.
They displayed deliberate scientific prudence there, explicitly categorizing these results as initial signs of generalization rather than a ready-to-deploy commercial consumer product.
The complex prompt engineering was entirely necessary to align the model's vast but unstructured physical knowledge with a specific, actionable goal.
The historical precedent here provides the necessary context. The text reminds us that OpenAI developers once watched their GPT-2 language model spontaneously invent coherent stories about unicorns in the Andes Mountains without any explicit programming.
We are seeing that exact same spontaneous capability transition into hardware. The robot is beginning to understand the physical grammar of its environment.
Just as these robotic systems are learning to recombine seemingly random, unrelated data parameters to solve completely new physical problems, human scientists are taking the exact same conceptual approach to recombine the physical world's worst garbage.
A major chemical breakthrough from Cambridge University, officially published in the prestigious journal Joule, directly targets two massive global waste problems. Researchers are taking the highly toxic corrosive acid drained from old car batteries and purposefully combining it with incredibly hard-to-recycle plastics.
We are talking specifically about complex materials that clog landfills globally, like nylon textiles and industrial polyurethane foams. This specific chemical process is called solar acid photoreformation.
Normally, breaking down complex polymer chains in plastics like nylon requires massive amounts of industrial heat and intense pressure.
Here, the researchers developed a newly robust photocatalyst. When this specific material is exposed to raw sunlight, it absorbs the solar energy and excites its own electrons.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You can look at this chemical process as high-level culinary fusion for toxic waste. You have corrosive battery acid on one side and indestructible plastic garbage on the other.
The highly energized electrons use the intensely corrosive environment of the battery acid to essentially act as a molecular scalpel, severing the stubborn carbon bonds in the plastic.
They apply concentrated sunlight as the baking heat source, and the ultimate output of this intense reaction is clean hydrogen energy and pure acetic acid.
Acetic acid is a highly valuable component in the global chemical industry. During rigorous laboratory trials, this experimental system ran completely stably for 260 continuous hours, yielding exceptionally high volumes of hydrogen gas.
You essentially solve the dangerous disposal problem of the battery acid and the systemic recycling failure of the plastics simultaneously, all while generating fuel.
The economic brilliance of this specific methodology completely changes the viability of waste reclamation. Traditional plastic recycling is often financially unfeasible because the required chemical solvents are incredibly expensive and degrade quickly.
In this Cambridge model, recovering and reusing the battery acid before it goes through expensive industrial neutralization lowers the processing costs by a massive order of magnitude.
The lead researcher, Professor Erwin Reisner, actually called the discovery almost fortuitous. They initially assumed the highly corrosive acid would simply dissolve their entire catalyst system within hours.
Capturing the sun's raw energy to sever molecular bonds is not just revolutionizing how we handle complex industrial waste on the ground, it is simultaneously pushing the absolute physical boundaries of how long we can keep functional machinery operating in the sky.
YouTuber Luke Maximo Bell built a highly customized, artisanal solar quadcopter that successfully flew for 5 continuous hours, 2 minutes, and 21 seconds.
The unique design utilizes a distinct X-structure framework specifically engineered to support 32 individual solar panels. These panels are arranged across a delicate, modified dual-layer configuration designed to capture sunlight from multiple angles as the drone shifts.
The Endurance prototype exhibited extreme mechanical fragility during testing, which highlights the intense physics involved in solar aviation. Achieving that 5-hour flight mark required absolutely zero ambient wind.
The constant downward thrust required by a quadcopter to fight gravity consumes an immense amount of energy. Every slight adjustment to maintain a hover drains the power reserves.
Furthermore, the flight required completely clear skies to maximize the solar yield and constant manual piloting because the onboard GPS system failed entirely under the strict power constraints.
The creator's immediate next plan to solve these aerodynamic limitations involves transitioning the entire craft to an electric vertical takeoff and landing, or a VTOL fixed-wing design.
A fixed-wing aircraft uses basic aerodynamics to generate lift passively. It requires only 10% of the aggressive power required for a quadcopter hover state.
This massive reduction in energy consumption potentially allows the drone to fly indefinitely, day and night, by utilizing a small buffer battery to store excess solar energy generated during peak daylight hours. Imagine the real-world commercial applications of an autonomous drone that literally never has to land.
You could have devices continuously monitoring vast agricultural lands, tracking wildlife migration patterns, or providing uninterrupted communication relays over remote disaster zones where infrastructure has collapsed.
But I have to ask you if a 25% efficient consumer-grade solar panel, which is what this current prototype heavily relies on, is truly enough to make this a reliable commercial reality outside the highly controlled environment of a YouTube stunt video.
Contextualizing this specific creator's achievement against massive institutional records provides a much clearer picture of the technology's actual ceiling. The East Zurich Atlantic Solar Project currently holds the official 81.5-hour continuous flight record for aircraft under 50 kilograms.
They utilized advanced tracking algorithms and highly specialized light-rate materials to survive 3 consecutive nights solely on battery reserves charged by the sun.
You also have massive corporate projects like the Airbus Zephyr S, weighing 75 kilograms, achieving a staggering 67 days of continuous flight in the stratosphere, far above the weather systems that plagued the YouTube creator.
While these independent inventors and well-funded universities are constantly pushing the extreme mechanical limits of cutting-edge hardware, the most impressive systematic upgrade documented in our sources today is actually happening in a piece of human hardware.
This hardware has been continuously operating for over a century. Dean Symes is a remarkable 102-year-old Australian man living in Sydney who currently runs a dedicated organization called Computer Pals.
He actively teaches seniors how to fluently use Windows 11, communicate safely via WhatsApp, and expertly navigate the exact same modern artificial intelligence search engines we analyzed earlier.
He even trains his elderly students on how to spot bad internet links, verify credible digital sources, and avoid malicious software downloads that target vulnerable populations. The provided source text actually presents a highly amusing mathematical contradiction regarding his personal timeline.
The article explicitly claims he never touched a computer until he was over 80 years old, yet simultaneously states he boldly founded this technology training charity in the year 2000 at age 75.
Regardless of the slight chronological discrepancy in the reporting, the focus remains firmly on his core operational philosophy, which is simply practice, practice, practice.
He fills his rigorous daily schedule with sports, competitive bridge games, and driving his own car around Sydney to visit his 6 children.
This intense daily regimen is driven by a sheer, uncompromising determination to maintain his neuroplasticity and completely avoid becoming a proverbial couch potato.
Dean represents the absolute living embodiment of the ultimate, highly successful software update. If you are sitting there right now thinking you simply do not have the energy or the foundational knowledge to learn how a new generative search engine works, Dean completely destroys that excuse.
When a 102-year-old man can successfully instruct 94-year-old students on how to expertly navigate complex artificial intelligence tools, none of us have any valid excuse to be intimidated by the rapid technological advancements we discussed today.
If the centenarian can adapt to AI search and spot digital malware, the learning curve is entirely manageable.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the traditional boundaries of capability are being aggressively redefined everywhere you look right now. Artificial search engines are fundamentally altering the currency of information discovery.
Shifting the power from those who shout the loudest to those deemed most credible by the algorithm.
Self-taught robots are independently inferring completely undocumented physical tasks by connecting abstract dots in their training data. Chemical reactors are utilizing the raw power of the sun to turn the world's worst toxic pollutants into clean, sustainable fuel.
Solar drones are actively chasing the dream of endless, uninterrupted flight by merging advanced photovoltaics with highly efficient aerodynamic designs.
Above all those technological marvels, the human mind continually demonstrates a boundless, age-defying capacity to learn, adapt, and eventually master these sweeping environmental changes.
So, what does this all mean for you tomorrow morning? Consider this final, lingering thought. If a physical robot can deduce exactly how to use a human air fryer today with absolutely no direct training, and artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming your absolute primary lens for discovering the world, how long is it until the artificial intelligence starts proactively designing its own complex physical tools that we humans have to figure out how to use? Remind yourself to stay endlessly curious as the rules of our reality continue to shift. This isn't a podcast definitive. Please help us to reach 2,000 subscribers.